CHGO White Sox postgame show. Coming to you live from Studio A. It's weird not to have the presenting thing. What do we do now?
It feels weird. I don't know what you're supposed to say there.
What do we... It's the showtime.
Presented by you.
Showtime. Presented by you, the people. I'm Sean Anderson, your host. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow the show on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. Alongside me is Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. And the man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button if you are up and hanging out with us after this West Coast loss. The White Sox lose 5-1. Steven, come on.
Steven not appreciative of Yasmani Grandal's ninth inning sacrifice fly.
I was setting up another show. It was a little rushed. We're going to get it fixed.
One Vinny click to pick. Whatever it is.
Which is weird because my guy, Andrew Vaughn, I've always been an Andrew Vaughn guy, never have criticized him. I mean, as people has noticed that I'm the Andrew Vaughn guy on this set. So
it's true.
You've never criticized him, definitely not in the last several days.
Exactly. So I'm sad that Andrew Vaughn didn't get his just due today.
Really? How many RBIs did Andrew Vaughn have?
None. He's only the guy who gets on base. He's like, hey, I'll get on base with my great base running, too, in the ninth inning to score the only run the White Sox had.
Also, I missed the final score by 1 run. It said 5-2.
And it's the same thing with Fred. He went to 6-1.
I mean, hey, and if we're talking about closeness, our guy Clark said, see you at 11:40. And he's not here. Yet here we are at 11:40.
I think Clark, he might be here, but just not commenting
He's
yet.
not gloating in the comments.
And isn't that what life's about, gloating?
I guarantee my guy Clark's here. I guarantee that.
Well, we will patiently wait silently until Clark speaks. We did have a pregame show earlier. We talked about Liam Hendriks, and one piece that I think I missed because Vinny was like, I brought that up, and I said
it as like an aside. So I'm glad that you're giving it. I'm glad that you're giving it more attention. Yes.
All right, Steven, can we turn any of these into spotlights? Can we give Vinny a spotlight to give him? This is not an aside.
I don't think we have that capability here.
Okay,
I can put the light right up in his face, but he won't see again.
Vinny,
not only that, no one would see me.
Correct. Because people don't realize
there would just be a light in front of my face.
Insanely bright.
Right.
What was the aside that should have been a soliloquy?
Well, again, I mentioned it, but I don't think I mentioned it quite hard enough that Liam Hendriks said there's no structural damage with what he's dealing with in his elbow. So we were talking about his recent history as well as his not-so-recent history in dealing with things not going the way they're supposed to in that elbow. He's pitched with a partially torn UCL since 2008. That's a very long time ago, 15 years ago. I don't think Sean was even born yet. And last year, he obviously had the flexor strain that landed him on the injured list for about a month, kind of in that area, but not anything worsening in that department. We were talking about how maybe, listen, you deal with this for 15 years and maybe some stuff starts to pop up, but we want to make sure that we point out no structural damage according to Liam. So maybe this is just a thing like last year where you rest it up for a few weeks or a month and you come back and you're able to pitch through it. I think what we were talking about that still applies certainly is that here's another White Sox player who might be managing an injury the rest of the year. Obviously, Liam is his own special situation with what he went through coming back from the cancer treatment, but just in terms of a baseball injury, we're seeing Yoan Moncada having to deal with his back, Yasmani Grandal dealing with the legs and the back, Eloy Jimenez dealing with the legs. Is this Liam Hendriks going to be dealing with the elbow for the remainder of the season once he comes back off the injured list?
I sure hope not. I sure hope he gets all the rest and all the recovery that he needs. Because as we saw today, the White Sox probably don't need him because they're not going to score enough runs to have a lead for when Liam needs to come in the game because this game was just so lifeless. Offense didn't do a damn thing. Lance Lynn got hit early, settled in, and then that was it.
Well, it gave a lot of people to theorize. Not only did I see people throw out that the White Sox should use an opener for Lance Lynn now because I think he's given up like 19 runs in his 14 first innings or something like that. But I've also saw Lance Lynn as the closer because he has the intensity. So, hey, Maybe he doesn't start the game. Maybe he only closes the game. We'll figure it out. But apparently,
White Sox
stinks.
Twitter needs to get together and
yes.
Figure out their opinions before spreading them out there, because they're just contradicting each other at this point.
What is not contradicting each other anymore? I guess it's now a tie. I guess it is now a contradiction. Jordan Lyles and Lance Lynn have now given up the most homers in Major League Baseball.
Along with Yusei Kikuchi as well.
Why doesn't that pop up on my Fangraphs? Is he not like qualified?
Did it happen tonight?
Fangraphs hates Japanese players.
Because Fangraphs
that's true.
Fangraphs is like BBREF, where it updates the next day, right?
Next day, yeah.
MLB.com
updates live.
Did Toronto play? Oh, they played Baltimore.
They got crushed. And Kikuchi was probably part of that, getting crushed.
Well, he wasn't. He didn't pitch.
Bassett
did.
Ooh, Chris Bassett. No, been pitching
Anyway,
well this year.
18 home runs given up by the lot of them.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
That is.
Hey, we just talked about being factual, being correct.
Hey, I appreciate you double
Just wanted
checking.
to make sure. Anyways, Lance Lynn. I mean, what do we do about Lance Lynn? Do we just ignore it? He comes up every 5 days.
There's literally nothing you can do about Lance Lynn unless you're going to create a phantom IL stint for Lance Lynn. He's not getting DFA'd, and I know people who are listening and watching this want him DFA'd, but you want Jesse Schultz? You know, they've already DFA'd Diekman earlier in the year. You think Jerry's wants to just be eating money left and right? Like, he didn't pitch well today, but then he settled in. It's not an excuse for him, but he did settle in eventually. This is a home run hitting team in the Los Angeles Dodgers. It wasn't a good outing for Lance Lynn, but if anything you take out of this that is kind of positive, struck out 6, I think, only walked 2, settled in the second, third, fourth, and fifth innings, and then the sixth inning kind of got away from him. But I thought that for how he started and how he finished, even though he gave up Crochet gave up his inherited run, but that turned into be an unearned run because of Yohan Moncada's error there. It was all right, fine outing for Lance Lynn. Not what you want from any of your starting pitchers, but for what he's been going through, this, I think, is a incremental step in the right direction. The smallest step in the right direction.
I guess what you can say about this is that it is nowhere close to as bad as Lance has been this year from a results standpoint. But, 5 innings and 4 runs is not going to get the job done if you're a starting pitcher, especially a starting pitcher who is supposed to be a starting pitcher of his caliber. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who, in this uniform, has finished in the top 3 in the Cy Young vote. That's what you would expect Lance Lynn to be, is that elite American League pitcher. He has not been that. Last year, it seemed to stem from the injury. This year, he hasn't missed any time, and it is just not clicking. And listen, I think I hate to draw the parallels because it's, everybody's calling for a DFA that seems very unlikely to happen. But Dallas Keuchel, first year in a White Sox uniform, was a top 5 Cy Young finisher, and then turned into a guy whose numbers were just through the roof, and and Lance is doing that as well this year. His ERA is ridiculously high. You read off that he's right up there with he is one of the league leaders in home runs allowed. He's right up there with the league leaders in walks, along with a couple of his teammates, by the way. So
what was the stat that only Lance 2 pitchers have more home runs and walks allowed? What was
combined?
Yeah, combined. It was the only people that had more were his
Lyles
2 teammates.
I see.
Oh, you said he was top 15.
I thought you read that one. It was
no. He was at the time I tweeted it. He was behind only Lyles and Kikuchi in home runs allowed. He was, I believe, 30th in baseball in walks, but 2 of those pitchers ahead of him were Cease and Kopech. So yeah, it has gone quite poorly for Lance, and I don't think you're going to see him go, though. Herb brought up what's the alternative, and that's very much a reality for this White Sox team. I don't know if they have 3 months worth of Jesse Schultz starts in them. I don't know if they have 3 months worth of Sean Burke starts in him if he's ready to go down there anytime soon to get some major league action. And then you've got to remember too, and Jason even brought it up on the broadcast. Lance is the leader of this pitching staff, and he might not be as vocal as he has been in the past if the results aren't lining up, with what he wants them to be. But you just start cutting guys, and then one of those guys is a beloved clubhouse figure, a guy who the rest of the pitching staff looks up to and goes to for insight and advice, and I don't see that happening. I mean, like you said, they already made their DFA with Jake Diekman of a guy who they were paying to pitch this year. I don't see that happening with Lance because, again, you're not replacing him with somebody that is worthy of taking that roster spot.
Well, and we see Lance's reaction once he gets pulled from the game, slamming, and you're like, don't break your hand, don't punch anything. You see the frustration from him, only giving us 5 innings. If Steve, you want to flash the starting pitcher lines, 5 innings, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 6 hits, 6 Ks, 2 walks. Gonsolin, 6 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, 6 Ks, 2 walks. And even to your point, Vinny, about the leadership, I think back to when they were in Toronto and Pedro Grifol was saying, we have to come out here with an edge. And this is after they just lost in Tampa, and I think they were on like a 5-game losing streak. And Lance was the starter that day, and he was just swearing after every single pitch. And he was just, coming out there and with that edge. And, I do think he likes setting that tone for the Sox. But
he can still do that.
It's probably really frustrating, though, when, hey, let's go set the tone by giving up 4 runs of the first inning.
And we're harping on Lance because his numbers are bad, and he gave up 2 more home runs today, and he did exactly what we said he can't do or couldn't do in the pregame show when we said, go ahead and give up your 2 home runs, just don't put anybody on in front of him. I mean, if he had only given up 2 runs today in 5 innings, that'd be a much different story.
Still lose.
Right.
But yes, but a great outing, though.
Right. But at the end of the day, this offense is not helping anybody. 7, they've played 10 games in the month of June. 7 of them, they've scored 3 or fewer runs. And not insignificant number of those they've won. But it's you cannot have any sort of sustainable success doing that, especially when that is what is supposed to be, and we're sounding like a broken record from last year, but supposed to be the focus of this team. I mean, this team was built to hit and score runs and score a lot of runs and hit a lot of home runs, and just nothing on a nightly basis.
Ball goes far, team goes far, and that's why they're 10 games under right now.
Yeah, and Tony Gonsolin's good, but, you have to do your job. And the White Sox did not do their job offensively today. Failed on most accounts, and this guy's not a strikeout guy, but we got number 2 hitter striking out the first time he comes up, and I'm talking about Andrew Benintendi, and the second time he comes up, he's got a 2-2 count. Just looks at a fastball right down the middle. It's like, what's our approach? And his individual approach to 2-0 counts, and I'm talking about Andrew Benintendi, he's late on them. Like, I don't know what the thought process is right there where you're just like, okay, he's throwing me a fastball middle. I'm going to be late on this one and foul it off, or hit a weak line drive to Mookie Betts, who's playing shortstop. Like, those don't make sense. He's a left-handed hitter. He should be looking to drive that ball into right center field or hitting the fire ball over at right field at minimum. But he's still going the opposite way. It's a terrible, terrible offensive approach, especially when you got the advantage. It's been like this the whole season with more than just Andrew Benintendi, but that's what I took out today. He had multiple 2-0 counts where he didn't attack and do a great job of making Tony Gonsolin pay for his balls before that.
He said on Instagram he's saving them. He's saving those homers.
For what? MLB The Show?
Good
it's time to go, brother.
No, man. I mean, hey.
Get on his ass, Brock Holt. Get in his ass.
As Pedro Grifol said, don't let him get hot. Just wait for them to get hot. If they're just 10 games under 500, and they're probably just bad. Just real quick, what do you make of Bob Nightingale saying on our old employer airwaves that, hey, this isn't Pedro. This is Pedro Grifol's fault because if it was Tony La Russa's fault, it has to be Pedro Grifol's fault.
Yeah, I don't know who sent him to say that, but I think it's garbage. Either way you put it, like Pedro just got there, and somebody is sending Bob out there to send word that it's his fault. He didn't fix everything that was wrong with the White Sox. It's garbage. Absolutely garbage. This man is trying his best. He just got his first Major League Baseball job as a manager, and now he's hearing through one of the national writers that, Pedro didn't fix him. It's time to break this thing all up. It's garbage. I don't like when, and it might just be Bob going rogue or just taking something we was told and going rogue. Either way you put it, I don't think Pedro should be blamed for this team. As we always talk about managers mattering very little in wins and losses, what manager comes in here and makes his team hit? What manager comes in here and makes his team healthy? What manager comes in here and makes Lance Lynn better pitcher?
One of the guys that is hitting is Luis Robert, and we just credit him for drawing a walk. And that Pedro Grifol has been part of Luis Robert's resurgence. Obviously, Luis Robert being healthy has been part of that. But Herb, I found it shady. So take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with warm weather ahead with polarized shades.
We've got no props because it poured rain all day.
And it's because it's midnight.
Well, but even still, when we walked in here, the sun might have been out.
Yeah. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product. It is later, so I think the sunset's like 8:47.
Oh, yeah.
So we still could have.
Yeah, but there's no sun today.
Right.
It was overcast all day.
The rain.
Shady Rays offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. They have durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures, and that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us that they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. And exclusive for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized shades. Try for yourself these shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Also, this lovely Tim Anderson bobblehead was donated by FOCO. They also gave us the Southpaw bobblehead back there. Happy birthday, Southpaw. By the way, we missed that on Sunday, or at least Vinnie and I did because you were there celebrating your birthday. But FOCO, you can check them out. FOCO while you're chilling and listening out to our podcast. You can scroll and see all the lovely bobbleheads like Herb's Guy, Andrew Benintendi, Pig Suey. Also commented on the Instagram post about Andrew Benintendi, Arkansas men's basketball or men's baseball.
Oh, I thought you meant like the mascot did. Yeah,
it's like they're not supposed to talk.
Isn't it Tusk?
So they've got a real animal and then they've got the guy in the suit. I'm not sure which is named Tusk, but one of them is.
I hope that the suit is Tusk.
I'm going to do some further reference or further searching on this.
While you do that, Vinny, get fit in the best sports gear around at foco.com, FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. And since it is spring and baseball season, they have Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. And like Herb says in the chat, thanks for joining us on the late night. And thanks to everybody for saying, you guys are, love the show, hate the Sox, or, something like, this is the only reason why I'm paying attention to the Sox is because of the show. It means a lot, Hey, it's tough to see your team be 10 games under 500, especially in this bad division. Because, again, it's not surprising they lose to the Dodgers. It's just, it seemed lifeless.
Told you our guy Clark was going to be here.
He is.
Never a doubt.
But he's not taking a lap because he's classy. He's not taking a victory lap.
Right. He doesn't gloat.
No, he's not a gloater.
But I will gloat. It's true that the two different mascots have the different names at the University of Arkansas. Tusk, and they're now on their 6th Tusk, is the living hog that they have there, the live hog mascot. And then you got the guy in the cartoon hog suit. That's Big Red.
Big Red.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
So there you go. There's your...
because he's big and red.
Correct.
Husky Bardo has a super chat saying, funny how these World Baseball Classic guys are hurt or bad on the Sox. That was one part of the World Baseball Classic, and maybe it's just because of the competition itself. I thought Lance Lynn looked fantastic. We were all excited. I mean, you said, and not to bring this up, but Steven reminded me of this. So, you were saying, hey, it might be a Cy Young year for Lance Lynn.
He looked ready to rip.
As bad as he looks, all of us is surprising.
To this extent, absolutely. Yeah,
14 starts, and only 3 of them haven't had a homer given up.
Yeah, no
11 of his 14 starts, he's allowed a homer.
And this AG guy, I get it, guy. We're not defending him. We're just saying the outing was bad, but he settled in and gave the team a chance to maybe do something. And the White Sox hitters were like, no, we're good. 3 hits today.
Yeah, let's not forget that Will Smith home run. That was actually a pretty good pitch.
It was.
Inner portion of the play, kind of in on the hands, and he just hit it out of there.
Sometimes guys are going to hit you. And also the team they're facing is a pretty decent one who now leads the league in home runs.
Well, and then
with the Dodgers.
And also
walked Freeman right before Smith went deep.
That wasn't smart. He shouldn't have did that.
He shouldn't have done that. But, again, it's just more errors that compile.
And I will tell you this to that complainant regarding Lance Lynn. You know who's not going to defend Lance Lynn? Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn.
He is obviously not happy about this. He has not been happy from day one, or I guess it was day 2 when because he fared all right in Houston, but didn't pitch well against the Giants when they came home. I mean, I can't tell you the number of Lance Lynn post-game media sessions that have all been the same, with him saying how much he's got to be better, how he sucked that day, how it was to quote him, a horse shit performance. I mean, he's mad, and guess what? The TV cameras caught it today. You saw him break an iPad. Thankfully, it wasn't mine, but you saw him break an iPad in the dugout. Thankfully for him and the White Sox, he didn't break anything else, in terms of bones in his hand, but. He's not happy. And I mean, you say zero leadership. My first reaction is, well, leadership and putting up a good ERA are not, two things that have to go hand in hand. But there is something in taking that self-accountability and realizing that you're not getting the job done and working like we heard Daryl describe, pass along from Kurt Hassler today. You don't think Lance is working on this stuff in between starts? Of course he is. He's been doing this for a long time, and he knows how to get better, and that it isn't happening probably means that that he's far more frustrated than everybody out there watching it.
Couldn't agree more. I think, Lance is hard on himself, and he knows that this is not him. And it's a walk year, too. He wants to be good. And now the White Sox are like, we ain't going to give you that. Here's $1 million to go away and sign with another team. So I'm sure that he wanted to perform well. I'm sure every team and player wants to perform well. It's not working. He's been bad. He's been one of the worst, if not the worst, Major League starting pitcher in front of Jordan Lyles, who is now 0-11. But mercy. I mean,
they've lost all 14 games he's started.
Oh God, just so bad.
Royals.
And didn't the White
They're
Sox
the worst team in baseball?
Struggle a little bit against Jordan Lyles?
Yeah. Well, the second time around, which was funnier because the first time around, Robert and Vaughn went deep.
Yeah, I was at that game and then took a picture of the Pasquatch when he hit a single, which is weird. They do it when he
just comes out every time.
Yeah,
they got to get their money's worth in the suit.
Yeah.
They invested in the suit. They got to get their money's worth. They save it for home runs. He's only going out there, max 25, 30 times a year? No, you got to send him out there every time anything happens.
You guys kept bringing up the Kansas City Heat. The suit is extremely custom. It's extremely breathable.
Is this true?
The first of its kind.
Have you read about it?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's midnight, and I'm delusional. Why are we doing this?
What, talking about the Pasquatch?
I brought up Pasquatch.
Do you want to talk about the 3 hits that the White Sox got tonight?
Why do
my
time
favorite
zones
was
exist?
the two Andrew Vaughn hits that he should have won Click the Pick.
How is it 7 o'clock in LA and it's 9 o'clock here?
Because the
Makes
sun.
no sense.
You know the sun?
Stupid.
That's how it works.
Less about the sun and the rotation. It's actually the rotation of the Earth.
Yeah, right. It's the sun's big. How does that shouldn't matter?
You want me to give you a crash course in
Sure.
astronomy right now? I don't think we need to do that.
We got to get to 45 minutes. No, I mean
we were on a nice little run about the Pasquatch.
Yeah,
I didn't. Hey, to at least go back because I did have one thought about your Tusk thing.
Yeah,
it is a terrible
sure.
album. Yes, I agree.
Steven, feel free to just not go live. You can just stop going live for a second, right?
I don't think it works like that.
Well, what I might say might incriminate me, but our guy Schwo was saying, hey, get a pig if the White Sox are 3 games back by July 4th. Isn't that technically a pig? Shouldn't we get a pig named Tusk?
I mean, I think regardless of the Razorback, Arkansas Razorback connection, the pig's name was probably going to be Tusk all along.
Yeah, those
wasn't
are warthogs,
Yes.
right?
No,
Razorbacks aren't
kind of
they
a wild
warthogs?
boar type situation. Yeah,
Isn't it still pig?
I mean,
Pig
it's
family?
It's related to a pig.
You probably wouldn't
Pig
want to eat
adjacent.
it.
Yeah, pig adjacent. Yeah, it's pig adjacent.
It might be gamey. I don't think it would kill
I
you.
don't think it runs too fast. It doesn't have enough meat on the bone.
Jesus Christ.
Go and kill yourself a warthog or whatever they're called, a razorback.
If Tusk 6 goes missing, I did not say this.
Wow.
I do not want to talk about the 3 hits. I mean, they have to do this again. Like, I mean, they're going to play Kershaw tomorrow. It's going to be on ESPN. I think that's the biggest thing for me is just the White Sox are going to be on ESPN, Apple TV,
MLB Network tonight.
MLB Network tonight. Are these networks sure? Again, they're 10 games back. And, like, I get the whole Lance Lynn DFA thing, but again, like, what team wants to eat $18 million when you're in this situation?
None. And they got to believe that he can't pitch any worse than this. Like, he's pitched the second worst of any starter in the league. And they have to think, like, this can't be real. This is not what we signed up for. Is he just from one year to the other, like, completely washed? And from in the WBC looking like one of the top pitchers participating there to one of the worst pitchers in Major League Baseball. You can't believe that. And I'm sure the White Sox are like, there's more in here. There's got to be the guy that we saw. And you saw it after the comments by Steve Stone about eating that salad. You saw Lance Lynn almost throw a no-hitter and throw very well at that home start. But that's been few and far between. He's been really struggling this year, and I don't know what's going to get him better. He had better location on some of his cutters and sliders, as we're talking about with the Will Smith home run. That sinker wasn't bad. It was in on the hands, and Will Smith is just a good hitter. Put the barrel down on it and crushed that ball. The pitch to Peralta was a garbage pitch. Middle, and he crushed it. But for the most part, you got to limit, as we talked about before, the people in front of him. Can't give the walk up to Freddie Freeman. Can't give the soft single up to Jason Hayward, even though it was a soft single. But you're going to give up home runs. You got to limit the damage by just making those solo home runs instead of 2-run home runs.
I mean, in the way this offense has been performing, and again, too, that's something Lance Lynn can't control.
Yeah.
And that's another example of what happened, over the weekend with the relievers, with that play by TA. It's like, well, the offense is going to do basically nothing. So all the other parts of the game better be damn close to perfect.
Exactly.
And Lance Lynn, far from perfect tonight. Guy, you put up 4 runs in the first inning, that's going to be a bad start, 9 out of 10 times. But, all the offense has to do is score 5 runs, and we're having a very different conversation. Only scoring 5 runs seems to be a bridge too far on most nights for this offense right now.
Well, in Moncada, too. I mean, boots that play a third, too. So, I mean, it's even like the defense isn't even fully clean, I mean, like.
Right.
And
then you could, I mean, he stepped into a 2-on nobody out jam. I'm not going to go ahead and say that Moncada error is the only reason that run ended up scoring.
No.
But it's magnified, right? You remember it. Oh, there you go. Moncada error, 5th run. That puts the game even further out of reach because the offense isn't doing anything.
Well, we've always talked about like when the White Sox have played complete games, and it's been few and far between when they're playing, getting great pitching, great hitting, and playing great defense. And, the A's just won their 7th game in a row, and we just found the stat that the last time the White Sox had a 7-game win streak was August 22nd of 2022 when they beat the Cubs.
2020.
2020?
Yeah.
Sorry. There's 2 20s. It's 20.
Jesus.
It's 22 times.
Sure, like the vision.
Yeah.
Like Barbara Walters.
Stupid. But yeah, I mean, that was the game Jose Abreu went deep, I think, 3 times. Kyle Hendricks was pitching in Wrigley. Like, it's been a while where this team's like clicking and running. And like, that's always been the thing too, is like the first half of 2021 was really good. Kind of the back half of 2021 wasn't so great. We know how bad the AL Central has been last year and even in 2021. Like, I mean, how good was this team ever to be, like, to start? And like, I don't even know if we need to get into this discussion, but like, it's mainly just because they're 1-4 now in their last 5 games. And, all that offense is kind of dried up. OPS under 600 as an entire team. They hit those 4 homers against the Yankees. Yay.
It was a good day,
It was a good day.
or a good first half of the day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, when you're first 5 in June, and at that time, I think we discussed it, it's like, yeah, they're winning, but they're not scoring runs, and it continues. Now you get any slight bad start from a pitcher, the game was over in the first inning. I think we all felt, 4 runs, that's pretty much over, especially with Tony Gonsolin on the other side, who only gives up like 1 or 2 on a bad start, even though his last start versus the Reds, he gave up 3. So, like, the White Sox are not going to score that out there. No, not at all. And they underperformed my expectations even then. I think I gave them 2 runs in the preseason or pre-game show. And only 1 because of Andrew Vaughn's bad base running, and then eventually the sac fly by Yasmani Grandal. Even when we get good things, Vaughn can't play right, and his play at first base on those overhead foul balls, lackluster. Like this, everything about this team right now is not going the way it should be. Sans the bullpen today. Garrett Crochet did a good job today. So did Tanner Banks.
One of Crochet's better outings, if not his best outing of the season, I'd say.
Yeah.
You don't think
It
so?
wasn't even that good.
I mean, he had 2 full innings where he inherited runners. He induced that ground ball that Yohan.
The only base runner he gave up was the error, I think.
Yeah.
No, well, he gave it the double to Mookie.
And then
in the following
the
inning.
the good throw
No, it was better than I thought it
by
was.
Clint Frazier, throwing out Mookie Betts on a sharp single with a rifle to home plate. And Mookie Betts was out by a good margin. So there were some good things in this game, but the bad far outweighed the good. Far outweighed it.
Yeah, I think White Sox Tom earlier said the play of the game was that Frazier throw. Really, the only highlight. Clark earlier did make me laugh when he said you could talk about all 3 hits and still have time to kill. So thank you, Clark, for that one. Crochet on the night, I think he threw 35 pitches, 6 called and 6 swinging. Called strike whiff percentage at 34%. Not bad, not great. Kind of average for a reliever, just because, again, you're having less pitches. So,
for a guy who struggled.
For a guy who struggled.
That was a good outing.
I think, best outing of his year so far.
And he's
definitely.
going against the Dodgers, a formidable offense. So those numbers are a little bit more elevated, I think.
When one of your hits given up is against Mookie Betts, hey, got to tip your hat to the shortstop of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's take a quick break here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about our Chicago White Sox. You guys want to go to Comet Theater?
I do want to go to ComEd Theater. Are you ready?
I like the sound effect.
The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future.
You know, Herb, you're right. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across our beloved territory. We have yet to get an official ruling on what that territory entails. Is it Chicagoland? Is it the Great Lakes? Is it the state of Illinois? I'm not sure. We'll figure it out.
ComEd. Oh no, I'm still figuring it out.
Okay, we'll get to the bottom of that. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like those for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
Industrial processes, indeed. How does that work, Vinny?
You just like that phrase? Makes you just feel all warm inside. Well, Herb, I'm glad you asked because I have that information for you right here. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you, Herb, or you, listener, own a business, don't wait. Now, here's your CTA, your Chicago Transit Authority, if you will. Get started saving money and energy today. Speaking of the Chicago Transit Authority, I was driving down the expressway the other day and saw that they have a train now that's painted like the old ones. It's white and green with the retro logo on it.
So
That's exciting.
We drove past Union Park today, and the L right above it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a green and white station. Is that to match that?
Oh, I don't know, but you got to take a look at those Green Line stations. They are
absolutely. They're
they
beautiful.
are lovely.
The OGs, right? That's the OG line.
I don't
think that's the first line.
I don't know.
All right,
We'll have to look
sorry.
that up as well. We've got a lot of things to research. Back to the ad read. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Did you say ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
Yes, I did say that. Schedule it today.
Amazing. I got your information about ComEd's territory.
The territory.
ComEd's service territory borders Iroquois County to the south, roughly Interstate 80, the Wisconsin border to the north, the Iowa border to the west, and the Indiana border to the east. ComEd powers the lives of more than 4 million customers across northern Illinois, or 70% of the state's population.
So it's Chicagoland plus everything all the way to the river.
Yeah, basically
all the way to the Mississippi River.
the north half of anything north of 80.
North of I-80.
They got you.
Nothing for you, region. Get out of here.
I'm not gonna.
It's your own damn electricity.
I got to figure out. Steven, can you figure out more about the Chicago L lines and which one was the first one?
I got that,
All right,
Steven.
Steven
Steven looks very upset.
He's like, I was doing the Cubs show too, running back and forth.
Steven, do me a favor. You got that goose sound effect?
That I could do for you, yeah.
Look at you. Herb's
The
got
look of pure panic on Steven's face when Sean asked if he could look something up about the L. Ooh, boy.
mercy. Herb's holding up the pocket pills. It's an everyday beer. It's what the brewers are drinking over at the Goose Island Original Brewhouse on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or their tap room over at Fulton Street in Westtown. CHGO is supported by Goose Island Beer Company, and they've been Chicago's beer since 1988. We've been very lucky to have the 312, the Goose IPA, the Tropical Beer Hugs, the Hazy IPAs stocked at our CHGO fridges. But we won a softball game yesterday.
We did.
And you chose the bar where we were going to go after.
Moonlighter.
We went over to the Moonlighter, and we were looking over the beer list, and Honker's Ale.
Yeah.
The one of the original
delicious
Goose Islands. I never had it before, and it was fantastic.
Straight out of the draft.
Right. Yeah. Hey, it was fantastic. So I mean, even the original stuff is fantastic. Again, they've been Chicago's beer since 1988. So grab an ultra fresh brewery exclusive beer over at their original brew house, again over on Clybourne and Lincoln Park, or their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
As Brian74 says, removing the Goose Island head or Goose head from Sox Park has cursed this team. Hey, results are in, and that's true.
Where's the lie?
Yeah.
Sean.
It's the curse of the Goose head.
Vinny.
Sean, you are correct.
Yes.
The first L line went south, and some of the tracks are still in use by the Green Line today.
Look at Sean.
Hey.
It's a natural Jeffrey Breyer.
It's the city I live. It's the guy from WTTW.
Yeah. Winner of the world.
Should we have a telethon?
That'd be funny.
No.
I don't think we should, but
You want to work the
it would
phones?
be funny. Work the phones. I'd be presenting, I'd have to imagine.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Come on.
Be in front of him.
Every hour would we switch? I mean, we have a lot of personalities.
I want to be the guy who when you come back from the commercial or for the whatever they
Programming?
call it, is like telling you exactly what you just watched and that you can buy it on like a 15-pack DVD.
Hell yes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It's like
That's
with
what
your
that's the job I
donation,
want.
you get that thing you just watched for free
Right.
and this tote bag.
Right.
So Vinny wants to host a telethon. So somebody hit up his agent, and somebody hit up Herb's agent for a weather forecast, meteorologist.
Yeah. You know what you could do the presenting sponsor? Brought to you by viewers like you. Since we're stealing from the PBS.
That's pretty good.
Window to the world, baby.
Brought to you by diehards like you. Steven, click on that link in Slack, and then we'll do that, and then we'll just get out of here. All right. I want to bug you guys real quick.
Okay.
This is the Immaculate Grid. I was going to bring it up on the off day, but then we talked for an hour and 10 minutes about the White Sox. Let's just do this real quick. I was going to try to do two of these within one episode because they had a White Sox question and a White Sox specific grid or line here. But anyways, you could just exit out of this, Steven. We've kind of done this before. It's kind of the whole thing where,
Okay.
a guy's played for this team and this team, right? and you can only guess it once, basically.
Gotcha. So they have to, in each square they align. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's basically like a tic-tac-toe grid for the podcast listeners. On the left side is the Diamondbacks logo, the Nationals logo, and 500 career home runs, batters with 500 career home runs, and then the top row, Cubs, Cardinals, and then 30 stolen bases in a season. All right, so basically, to fill out one of the squares on the grids, you have to name a player who played for the Cubs and the Diamondbacks. All right,
and if you get it wrong, the game is over.
Yeah, and we can do this as a team.
Sure.
So that's the thing is so I mean, why don't we start top left, Cubs and Diamondbacks?
Mark Grace.
Mark Grace. Steven, you want to type that in? Yeah, it does. It does work. Does it not?
Yeah, I know. Now I know what you mean. I was thinking that
Oh,
it was
a little picture.
This is nice.
that
Yeah,
was
I
like the
was
30
expecting
stolen
this.
base thing had to be part of it, but it doesn't.
No.
Now
So it's
team.
just the way that the two that intersect in the square. So
I got the next one.
All right, so you got the Diamondbacks and Cardinals.
Yes, I'm gonna go with Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt, that works. I'm all right. I don't know. Can I get 30 stolen? And the thing is, you got to be immaculate. So you get 7 guesses for this. Steven, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go bottom right. 500 career homers and 30 stolen bases in a season. I'll go Alex Rodriguez. I don't think he's gonna count for any of those other teams. So we're not gonna double up on him. Boom. There we go.
Okay,
Because he was a 40-40 guy.
I will go to the 500 plus career home runs for the Chicago Cubs. Sammy Sosa.
Right, and that I mean, if the Sox were that team, Ken Griffey Jr. would count.
Just had to play.
Just
for
had
it.
to play there. I mean, Manny Ramirez would have counted for
Correct.
the Sox as well.
Correct.
Any Arizona Diamondback that stole 30 bases, or any Washington National. He had to be a Washington National.
He had to be a Washington National
while
when
he stole 30
it,
bases.
I think.
Damn, it's tough.
I think
Right? That's
we
why I
talked
don't-
about
I
this
don't know
the
about
other
the
day.
Diamondback.
I believe the Washington National to steal 30
Expos?
bases. No, is Alfonso Soriano.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
40-40.
Yeah, we talked about this on the show the other day.
Oh, well then, but do we want to save Soriano for the Cubs and National?
Oh wait. Oh, you can't
Because
repeat?
Yeah. Well, let's do Soriano here for the
Yeah,
Nationals.
we
'cause I'm
can
not
think
gonna-
of
I
a
don't know
Cub
any-
and National. His name is Edwin Jackson.
Wow, look at you.
Boom.
Or do we want to save him for the Cardinals?
He could be
'Cause
Cardinals
He could use
Nationals,
the
too.
Cardinals too. All right, we'll use Edwin Jackson for the Cubs and Cardinals. Nationals and Cardinals. Sean Doolittle, was he a Cardinal?
I don't think he was a Cardinal.
Well, 500 career home runs with the Cardinals. Albert Pujols.
Oh well, yeah, Mark McGuire.
But okay, I was like, you didn't have to hit them all with the Cardinals.
No.
So Mark McGuire would be part of that.
Right, no, that was the Ken Griffey Jr. with the White Sox. And Mark Reynolds? Did Mark Reynolds do Nationals and Cardinals?
I would, yeah, I would go with it.
Wait, there's got to be an easier one.
Then Mark Reynolds.
Yeah.
Okay.
One we're a little bit more confident on.
Who stole 30 bags with the Diamondbacks? Tony Womack.
Ketel Marte?
Tony Womack
30
works.
bags?
30?
Steven, you're a fantasy guy. Did Ketel Marte steal 30 bags with
That
the
was
Diamondbacks?
honestly the first guy I thought of too, but that's a lot. I would say no. I'm just guessing, but I would say no. Because he had a couple really good power seasons.
Corbin Carroll. Will.
Eventually.
All right, we just got to guess. Tony Womack. Unless you guys want to override me.
Tony Womack
Or Mark Reynolds for the
Tony Womack was the guy I was thinking about on 30. So which one are you more confident in? I'm more confident in the Tony Womack than Mark Reynolds. I know Mark Reynolds played for the Cardinals. Pretty sure he played for the Cardinals. I would go with Tony Womack. Vinny? Which one?
I have no idea with Mark Reynolds, if Mark Reynolds played for both of those teams.
I know he played for the D-backs.
I feel like Mark
God.
Reynolds is like a real deep pull here.
Matt
too.
Wieters? Matt Wieters for the Cardinals and the
There it is.
Nationals.
That's better. Yeah.
I think he was a Nat. I think he went Orioles, Nationals, Cardinals. Yeah.
There it is. Drum
Put
roll.
it in?
Drum
Yes,
roll.
Put it in.
Yes.
Matt Wieters with a
Got
creepy
it.
goatee.
How do you come up with Matt Wieters? That's
I don't know.
pulled that one out of nowhere.
I was just thinking of catchers. Shit.
30 bases for the D-backs.
Who is led off for the Diamondbacks?
Craig Counsell.
Council steal 30
Tony
bags.
Womack. Who else?
He had 50 homers. I don't think he stole 30 bags.
Um,
Marte and Womack are our two. Who do we feel more confident in? Marte or Womack?
Womack for me.
Royce Clayton.
did he play for the D-backs?
Yeah.
But I don't think he was stealing bases at that time.
Edwin or Ender Inciarte.
Ender Enciarte?
Yeah, did he steal 30 bags? I mean, he was a part of that Braves trade. All right, all right. Well, yeah, it's got to be Tony Womack. All right, why don't we listen to Paul correct?
Upton,
If he's Paul correct, Upton stole 30 bags,
early in his career.
30 bases?
but he with Upton? Was it with the? No, he was with the Diamondbacks to start.
Yeah.
Paul correct his last name is correct. He says Tony Womack, so let's go with Tony Womack. And yeah, hey, we got one more guess.
Oh, man, I'm sweating bullets.
It's
Here we go.
Immaculate.
Here we go.
Hey!
Yeah,
We got
hey!
it. Let's go.
Yes.
All right, good job. All right, we can drive
That
home
was
safely.
fun.
All right, thanks. I'm glad we did
I liked that.
All right, we can continue doing
But you
that.
can only play once a day?
Yeah, it's kind of like
Oh,
Wordle.
that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's
I
like
don't
the
mind
thing.
it.
That's the thing you should be able to spend like 6 hours doing.
And Justin Upton never stole 30 bases for anybody, much less the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Now I got to look up if Ketel Marte or Mark Reynolds played. While we have you here, that's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. Not only was Mark Reynolds a Cardinal in 2015, but he was a Nat in 2018.
Wow, nicely done.
Boom. And that's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. Ketel Marte's career high 11 and 10 stolen
Wow,
bases.
good thing
So,
we didn't guess that.
I'm Sean Anderson.
Do you
can
know
follow me
who
on
stole
Twitter.
the most bags between Mark Reynolds and Justin Upton as a season high?
I'm going to go ahead and guess that the only reason you're asking this is because it's Mark
Mark
Reynolds.
It is 24 is his high.
24.
21 was Justin Upton's high as a D-back and his career too.
That's insane. And Paul Correct was asking, what was that I want to play? Immaculate Grid. And I think it was mainly taken off of Jolly Olive of John Boy Baseball, who does something similar on their baseball channel. So make sure you check that out because he's great. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll see you tomorrow for another rousing White Sox baseball game. Thank you to Stephen Nicholas for producing. We'll talk to you then. Goodbye.